Hey guys, I'm Tiffany, and you found me on the Wise Skies channel. Wise Skies Collective is a metaphysical counseling company, and we offer one-on-one sessions with people. We also offer a fun group membership, and every Friday we do Tarot Friday. So this week I'm going to use the deck, the Tarot of Mystical Moments in our readings. And then I'm also going to use the wisdom of the Oracle to give you a little splash about the astrology that's going on right now, because that matters, right? I want you to work with the exercise of using the astrology for yourself and not to weaponize or blame things that are going on in the world, right? So what's happening this weekend is that Mars is going to move into Gemini for an unusually long time. So it's usually there for a couple of months, but it's going to be there for a much longer period of time, 7 to 8 months. So as Mars, the planet that helps influence our drive and our energy and sometimes our anger, right, is going to be moving into the sign of Gemini. Gemini can feel very divisive. It can feel very wishy-washy, confusing. It can also be very creative, and it can also inspire us to get clear on some things. But Mars in Gemini is going to be there for so long because there's going to be a retrograde cycle this fall, right? So Mars will move into Gemini, and as it retrogrades, it'll stay in Gemini. And then as it comes out, it'll stay in Gemini. So long time to learn the lessons of Mars and Gemini. At the same time, this weekend, Mercury is going to oppose Neptune. And to me, that's a bit of a crazy making setup. And I'm going to explain why. But I also just want to remind you to use the astrology for your benefit, to understand the weather that's out there as we move through changing times. And then I'm going to dip into your cards and see what specific advice would be great for you this weekend. Now I do these readings ahead of time, for our production schedule. And the reason that they work, the reason that you find them valid is because it's spirit led. So spirit is moving through me to offer a message to you, and it's going to be applicable to you. But if something doesn't apply or doesn't make sense, just let it go. We are here with our own free will. You were born wise. You have the ability to connect with your guides at any moment to change the course of your life. But here we go with Mars and Gemini. Mars, like I said, there's this energy to it. Like we get a little bit more amped up. And Gemini rules what? Words, communications. And so there could be moments where people are like really sharp tongued. So don't be ugly, right? Don't be ugly to the people in your life. Don't be sharp tongued. You're just going to regret it. And not being sharp tongued will help you with your own health, helping you stay mentally sober. Mars and Gemini can help us be very adaptable, can help us kind of ebb and flow. Mars and Gemini can inspire us to learn something new. It'd be a really positive use of that. And what else does Gemini rule? The hands, right? The shoulders, the wrists. So Mars and Gemini could help you learn a new hobby. It could help you play a musical instrument, anything where you need to tinker with your hands. Maybe this is the season that I'll finally knit my socks. I love to crochet, so I like to keep my hands busy while I'm doing something else. Mars and Gemini, that's a great use of that, like funneling that energy through your hands. And I would just want to say to the musicians and the artists of the world that rely on their hands for work to be very careful during this period, to be very mindful. Now let's talk about, Gemini also rules our school systems. And so taking extra safety precautions in our lower elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, I think would be very, very, very wise. So whatever that means to you and your community, taking extra safety precautions at school and taking that very seriously this fall, I think would be very wise. Now, Mercury opposing Neptune in the mix is why it's kind of like, oh, it's really confusing. Mercury rules the way that we think, right? Mercury rules Gemini. And so it's going to oppose Neptune, which is this spiritual at oneness, this yoga teacher, this bliss. Neptune takes away Mercury, the mind. And so if you're not thinking clearly, if you feel like your thinking is distorted, it probably is. And so Mars and Gemini gives us that ability to look at things from multiple sides, to get different advice. Just don't get so much advice that it confuses you. Mercury and Neptune being a very confusing, disorienting, clouded time. So what's the best use of that is to daydream, right? To take advantage of things that help put you in the creative instead of the practical. Oh, I also just want to make mention of anti-inflammatory diets, right? These are two very inflammatory, I guess, astrological positions. And so anything you can do to help reduce inflammation in your diet is going to, of course, improve your health any time of the year, but specifically this season. So if you're feeling extra sensitive, if you're feeling like pressured to make big decisions, I don't know, just try to get back into your meditation routine. Multitasking, I think, is going to be another opportunity of Mars and Gemini. So if you're feeling that need to like get a lot of stuff done, that can be a positive use of funneling that mental energy. So if you have a lot of mental energy, just keep going back to your human design and asking yourself, does it matter? Does it matter? Does it matter right now? Why is there a sense of urgency here? Is that here for a realistic protective mechanism to help me get through something? Is this fear real? Is this sense of urgency real because it's powering me forward? Or is the mind chewing on something that really doesn't matter? So during the rest of the year, as things get heated up, as things are kind of amplifying, as we get closer to eclipse season here in October and November, I feel like your meditation practice is just going to save your mind, so this could be, you could start with 5 minutes, you could increase your time each day, you could do morning only, you could do morning, noon, and night, but the idea is to take a mental break, so that you don't have a mental break, you know what I mean? That it's just that space in between, that giving something a rest will help things. Mercury opposing Neptune feels very much like just that idea of distortion. So chemicals, drugs, alcohol, things that confuse the mind. It feels like dementia. It feels like when the mind isn't clear, and it can be a very disorienting transit. So, I just want you to use your mind wisely and for yourself. And so I think that's an important message. So I wanted to spend a little bit longer time talking about it today, because both of those shifts are happening this weekend that you're watching Tarot Friday. So if you want more information about the astrology report, please check out wiseguyscollective.com. If you want ongoing support, right, we've got master teacher Sarah El-Harar coming to teach us about the midheaven in our membership in September. We've got a bunch of great classes, so come check out our membership if you want ongoing support that's really focused, and we would love to have you in our community. So let's start with Aries. Okay, so for the sign of Aries, we've got first the Mystical Moments Tarot, and just seeing what it is that our Aries friends need to hear for the weekend, I guess 19th, 20th, 21st, around those days. What is it that our Aries friends need to hear the most? Just clearing the deck for Aries and seeing what is most important. Okay, so it looks like we've got the 5 of Swords reversed and the 2 of Wands reversed. And so it looks like there will be something that you're kind of chewing on, going back and forth with, maybe even beating yourself up about a little bit here. The 2 of Wands is this ultimate Mars and Gemini, right? 2 Gemini and then Wands, Mars. And so this idea that you've got to make a decision, but you can't. And I feel like you might be beating yourself up about being in limbo a little bit too long about something. And so is there an opportunity to course correct and maybe not make the decision outwardly right now, but try some decisions out in your heart silently to yourself, so that you're not having to just like go in a direction and then change your mind, and then go in a direction and then change your mind. And it's more like this internal shift that's happening for you, Aries. And you've got to do some grieving about it before you can make the decision. I feel like there's some stuck energy that you haven't really washed through yet. And so that's why there's this stuckness to it. And so, maybe giving yourself some time to really wash through something that you've been confused about or haven't made a decision about, and therefore are feeling stuck about. It feels like that would be a good opportunity to journal through some of things. You might try some automatic writing and just write the question with your dominant hand and let your non-dominant hand answer. There could be some help with that, but just knowing that this isn't the right time to make a firm hard, clear stop about something. This is a time to really learn about yourself through your decision-making process. We have this great podcast and awesome article about decisions, if you want that, and how you uniquely make decisions. And so instead of beating yourself up about a decision that either hasn't been made or hasn't come to fruition for you, learning about your own unique decision-making strategy and authority in your human design would be really helpful. You can get a session. You don't have to get a session. You can look at your body graph for free and look at those two things, and let our articles and podcasts and supportive material really help you. And if you feel like, okay, now's the time that I want a session, then we're here to support that. But that, I feel, is a really good, powerful message for you. And to supplement that with the wisdom of the Oracle, the beautiful deck here. I'm not going to read, there's a lot. She's a really thorough booklet. And so I would just encourage you to look this up on your own if you want her take on it. But this is the card of regeneration, right? So regeneration requires some understanding of the self and the decision-making process. So working with that this weekend, Aries, and always, knowing that Mars is your ruling planet. Mars is your theme planet, and it's moving into Gemini. So what do you want to learn about yourself, right? Let's clear the deck for Taurus. Okay, so any Taurus watching this weekend, what can our Taurus friends learn? Let's just get clear for our Taurus. Okay. All right, we get a 3 of Pentacles and a 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so the 5s aren't going to leave us alone just yet, but the 3 is good, Taurus. This is about being creative, but it's also about working on kind of that masterpiece, that signature piece. And so even if you're like a very young Taurus, and you're not quite sure what you want to do with your life, or maybe you're an older Taurus and you have done a lot of things with your life. But the idea here is to stay creative, and staying creative means that you've got to involve the creator, right? The creator that lives outside of you, the great spirit, right? And so if you haven't had a lot of time connecting with spirit individually, this would be a really, really crucial time to be getting back into that meditation practice, sitting still and listening, instead of minding, mentally challenging your way through life, right? Like it's less about doing and going and being, forcing the thing, and more about receiving. And so that balance of masculine and feminine thinking and planning and asserting yourself versus receiving information, that balance, it looks like, isn't quite there yet, right? And so that's something that we can work on. The other thing about the 3 of Pentacles is it's kind of like your legacy. It's like your signature thing. So when I was in my 20s, I wrote a bunch of cookbooks, and I really loved doing that. And I feel like there was a moment when I didn't want to only be known for that, right? I later, recently through the Lionsgate workshops, found out about my birth order and how similar I am to Martha Stewart and Julia Childs and the people that like to inform through cooking. So there's a reason that happened in my life, but I didn't want to only be known for that, right? And so this 3 of Pentacles helped me create that life that I do want to be known for, which that is a part of, that I'm very proud and will continue to write and will continue to be part of the food community, right? But the idea here is, what's your legacy? What is it that you want to be known for? What do people think about you? You could do this simple exercise and ask 5 friends to give you 5 words that describe you. And it'll be interesting to see how similar and how completely different they are, and how different people see you. And that'll just give you some insight and information about yourself to love yourself with. This setup, of course, there's some grief here. So there could be some grief over time lost, over working on projects that don't matter. And this is just your opportunity to hit the reset button. This is an opportunity to shift your mind and shift your focus and shift what it is that is really the midheaven and 10th house thing. So I want to make sure, if you would like to come to our Midheaven workshop in September, it is with Sarah El Harar, the Astro Auntie. And so it is going to be a super powerful and informative workshop on the Midheaven, which is your 10th house, which is kind of addresses some of this creative, maybe, what's the right word, like creativity block, or a block with what you want to create into your life, right? So if you're feeling like you're having manifestation blocks, this could be a weekend to really release some more stuff. You can't create from a place if you have anger or haven't forgiven everybody yet, right? So writing letters and doing whatever it is that you need to do to kind of heal some of that anger issue once and for all. It's not that you won't ever have any bitterness come back into your life, but it just feels like don't create from a place where you're feeling a little stuck. And so over the next several months, you might have a lot of different ideas coming, right? Mars and Gemini, we might have a lot of different ideas. You might still be in that place of like, I'm not really sure where this is going yet. And that's why it's going to be important to surrender, to keep turning it over and over and over with spirit, right? Okay. And for you, Taurus, let's see, we get, so there's something that's not for you, there's something that is not for you. Maybe you've had a hard time letting go of it. But you know what that is. You know what's not for you. And if you want to look it up, guys, this is Colette Baron Reed's work, The Wisdom of the Oracle, and she has a lot to say. So very good information if you want to look it up. Okay. Let's clear for Gemini. So what is it that our Gemini friends need to hear for the weekend ahead? Some practical advice or guidance. Just clearing for Gemini. Okay. All right. Again, the five's just not going to leave us alone right now. So the Eight of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. So Gemini, some of you guys kind of going back to the drawing board in a way. The Eight of Pentacles is about chopping wood, carrying water, just steady work. Just steady work will help steady the mind and keep you out of the pits of any grief or despair or the high emotions or the highs and lows. It's not that we want to avoid those emotions. Of course, we want to work through them. But this Eight of Pentacles, it's like, try to get your life into a rhythm right now. Things have been a little bit up and down, chaotic, back and forth. And the lack of rhythm is also upsetting the emotional body, the auric body. And so I want you to start to use your mind in a way that helps protect the aura, instead of just being stuck in like this perpetual on and going mode. This is a symbol really to help you get into a rhythm. So any Geminis that are feeling out of sorts, out of balance, or that something's off, this is a calling to get back in balance through getting into a physical rhythm. Now, everybody's built differently. Some people need the same routine. Some people need to do the same things in a different way throughout the day. But what is your internal rhythm? And can you follow that rhythm of your own heart? So check that out and see how that feels. What kind of rhythm would be beneficial to you? And then for our Gemini's secondary message from the Wisdom of the Oracle, let's see. Mending. So something's mending, and the art of discipline, that art of chopping wood and carrying water and being in that rhythm that we were talking about is helping kind of pass time while the mending is occurring at the deeper levels. What a beautiful card to get. Our sunset kind of looked like that last night. All right, let's clear for our Cancers. What is it that our Cancer friends need to hear for the weekend ahead? Just some practical advice or guidance, something that helps. Okay, anything for our Cancers? We've got the High Priestess and the Chariot. So this is a card, I love both of these cards because it's about moving forward with something in your spiritual practice. And so if you've been kind of on the fence about something that you want to study or learn, or a teacher that all of a sudden opens a workshop that you haven't been able to work with in a long time, this would be a really great season to check back into some of those spiritual practices. So of course, I'm going to have to mention and pitch our membership at Wise Skies, which has rotating classes every month. We have psychic development stuff for you. This is what this card really feels like. So whether you want to do psychic development with us in our little circles or somebody else, this is really just a reminder that you were born wise and that you need to strengthen your psychic development. The Chariot is a card of forward momentum. So help is here, help is on the way, but the Chariot's always a collaboration. So this isn't something you can do by yourself. So it's not, of course, you can play little psychic games by yourself and help strengthen your intuition, but it looks like there's either it's time to learn about your spirit guides and connect with them, or it's time to ask for help, or it's time to collaborate. If you're already a reader, maybe you want to do a mediumship gallery and you want to ask somebody to support you in that and do it together, right? It's something like that. If you have never worked on your intuition as a Cancer, you know that you have it. It's not going to go away. So it's not like ever going to not be part of your genetic coding. You know what I mean? You are a highly intuitive, spiritual, sensitive being. And so this is a reminder to ask for help. And so what would that look like? It could be putting yourself in the glass cube so that the mind protects the aura, that you're not getting bombarded by things. It could be asking for help, like I said, from your spirit guides, the spirit doctors, the angels, anything in the etheric realm, right? Mercury opposing Neptune. So this could be just a reminder to believe in your own intuition. So we have lots of techniques and tools that we go over in our psychic development circles. So I encourage you to check that out. And we post free exercises in our metaphysical group, it's the Wise Skies Inner Circle group on Facebook. So if you guys want to check that out, we'd love to have you too. And so a secondary message for Cancer, let's see. In the wisdom of the Oracle deck, jumper, is to be flexible. And that is a big message of Mars and Gemini, as well as Mercury opposing Neptune, to stay flexible, to be adaptable. To maybe if you always get your psychic information with one sense, maybe it's time to try it from another sense, meaning maybe you're clairvoyant and now it's time that you're hearing some things and it can kind of make you feel crazy. Just be flexible with how you receive your intuition and your psychic information. Be flexible with the people around you. Just be flexible in general. This is a very intense fall astrologically. And so staying flexible is going to help pretty much all of us, right? Okay, so let's see. We've got, after Cancer, we've got Leo. Let's just clear the deck for Leo. Good messages there. Let's clear the deck for Leo and see what it is that our Leo friends need to hear for the weekend ahead. Just some practical advice or guidance that brings them clarity and comfort. Wow, another 5 with the Ace of Cups reversed. Okay, so Leos, I think that some of you guys are having some of the best days of your life, right? And these are the memories that you are making. And so if you're not in that mode right now, if you're like, no, they are not the best days of my life, what are you talking about? Like, I don't want things to get worse. This is a reminder that the mind can recreate memories and rewire the neural pathways of love that you have so much, in your genetic coding. This helps you remember something really positive to stop any negative thinking that is pulling you into a cycle of perpetual grief, right? Of perpetual sadness. And so what positive memories come to mind? I'll give you a personal example. The other day I was sitting down for meditation and I was following the breath and not thinking thoughts and just trying to let the mind go, right? And I felt this presence. I felt this presence of my bear, one of my bear guides, and then all 4 of my horses came visually to me, and it kind of conjured this feeling of deep, deep love, deep spiritual love, this connection that I had with my horses. And it was such a positive imprint of that spiritual deep love. And from that place, can we heal and create something new, right? And so this is the same thing for you guys, Leos. Like, what is it that you can remember so vividly, so viscerally about love that it helps shift anything that's not really for you, that you're attracting based on old thought patterns, right? Old beliefs, the old person that you haven't quite put down yet. What memory just brings so much love to mind that it will rewire you and magnetize what you are attracting, okay? Because this can be a toughie. This can be a grief season. And so I just want to say, like, what are the best days of your life? And not to not feel grief, but to help you so that you don't recreate it over and over. Hopefully you know what I mean. And any of you guys going through a dark season, we're here for you if you need some support. Okay, and with the wisdom of the oracle, why? This is not a helpful card when you don't read the context of the book. Why? And so this might be a reminder to find your purpose, your why, your passion. Sometimes questioning God, why, helps you find your faith. So don't be afraid to ask the question why this season. Mars and Gemini will help you understand why. It might be muddy at first. So over time, there's not an answer in the now, right? There's no truth in the now, but over time, try to understand your why and the other things that you might be asking why about. All right, let's clear for Virgo. We'll see what it is our Virgo friends need to hear for the weekend ahead. Some practical advice or guidance that really helps steer them. The Emperor and the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so a decision coming up about your job. Maybe some job options. Maybe you're trying to have a career pivot. And so I've got to invite you, Virgos, to Sarah Elharar's Midheaven workshop that we're having in September. It's for members, but I am going to make it available for non-members. So if you don't want to check out the membership, but you want to attend, it's about the midheaven, which is the top of the chart, the 10th house, the one that we old astrologers learned as career. But there's more than career to it, right? There's a sense of purpose. There's a sense of what you're known for. There's a sense of your legacy, right? And so the Emperor isn't just about your job. It's about where you're funneling your energy that contains all of your purpose. It contains all of your calling, It contains so much about your own spirit, your own soul. And so do you want to funnel it in the way that you've been funneling it? And if so, great, because just looking at that question, and even if the answer is yes, it's like, okay, yes, I do this. I am on purpose in this job, but it's not like out there. It's not like there's a wrong job, because you can always self-correct. You can always regroup with your why, you can always do better where you are, right? When you know better, do better, Maya Angelou. But the Two of Pentacles here to me feels like you're really just kind of questioning something that just is like, I'm not so sure about this. I'm going to wait and pivot. And that's the Mars and Gemini energy fueling that too, right? So if you're feeling like making some pros and cons, that would be great, because it would get it out of your head and onto paper. So anything that you're just kind of like not sure about doing this, weighing things out, it is a good time to be questioning that. Might not be resolved anytime soon, but it is the right time to question that, to look at options, and to really just ask yourself the tough questions when it comes to work. How many people on their deathbed have the regret of not spending more time with their family, not traveling more, not living their life fully because they had that ball and chain to work. And so really asking yourself the hard questions about what hours are you available to work? And maybe you need to just make some simple shifts if you're self-employed, right? If you're self-employed, maybe it's time to make some pivots with the hours you're available. Maybe you need a different work phone number. Maybe too many people have your personal number. There can be just some simple shift, right? The Two of Pentacles, when she's on this building, it reminds me of that quote about you can only jump the Grand Canyon in one leap. So we have this one precious human life. You don't get 2 jumps to make it all the way across. You might be being called for something bigger that pushes you out of your comfort zone a little bit, right? And so there is going to be a divine right timing despite the astrology that you can follow using your strategy and authority with your human design. But I know that you're weighing your options. Just don't let it drive you crazy. Get it out of your head and onto paper and keep reviewing it, until the timing is right. And you'll know when you know. And only you will know. You can keep getting counseling sessions, you can keep talking about it, but you're not ready until you're ready. And that's true for all of us. Okay, so for Virgos, the extra card is Treasure Island. Who doesn't want that card? Wow. All right, so there is some treasure for you. Maybe not where you've been looking. So see what this card does for you intuitively. Intuitively, what does the card Treasure Island mean? Do you need to escape to a treasure island, right? That mental escape. So be sure you watch the beginning where I talk about the astrology, and be sure you give yourself some mental escapes, some mental breaks, so that you don't have a mental break, right? So Treasure Island may be leaning in that direction, but maybe you have an alternative interpretation that would be a little bit more magical and special. Maybe some of you have turtle medicine to work with. But again, checking up on Colette Baron-Reid's version. The descriptions are super long, so I just want to give you a little bit of magic to look into. All right. After Virgos comes our Libras. Let's clear the deck for Libra. Just see what it is our Libra friends need to hear for the weekend ahead. Just some practical advice or guidance. Just something that our Libras can really feel heard and seen by the unseen world. Okay. All right, Ace of Swords and a 3 of Cups. Okay, so it looks like you're getting some information about relationships that have either been sticky or triangulated, or too many cooks in the kitchen, or it could be information about somebody new entering your life and maybe disrupting the flow of things, right? That third person means that nobody's really getting that pure one-on-one attention. That's not always a bad thing, the third being can be a new pet. It could be something positive. It could be 3 roommates moving in together for the fall. But the idea is that you're getting some new information about ways to be healthier in your relationships where there's multiple people involved. Your one-on-one relationships, you're doing fine with, but when there's multiple people, when there's a family system, it looks like you could use some new insights or new ways of thinking about either the family system or multiple people in a relationship, the tribe, right? The family. And so what is it that you need to pay attention to or learn or be aware of when it comes to the family system, or the tribe as a whole? I don't know why I did that for the tribe as a whole. Maybe that's your sign. But the idea here is that it's not that you need to separate or break away. It's more like more information is needed. So pay attention, have you just kind of been mindless about like, well, this is our family and this is the way we do things, and I don't care if it's crazy? Or have you been in some kind of inner circle group that you need some more information about? That's not a bad thing. That could be a really healthy, interesting thing. But those are the themes for you to be aware of this weekend. Okay, Libras, and with the wisdom of the Oracle, what is it that you guys need to hear? So some extra magic for our Libras. It says go the distance, So I don't have all of these meanings memorized, but if you want to look it up, please do, the wisdom of the Oracle, and go the distance. So is there some area in your life that you've kind of half-assed, have half measures avail us nothing, half measures avail us nothing. So this is about being all in or being all out in some ways. So go the distance, yes. However, we are still in a 5 numerology month, which helps us have a lot of ideas and things going on and can make us feel spread too thin. So go the distance, but pace yourself. Go the distance, but go in a way that's regulated strategically to conserve your energy, right? But do go the distance. Be all in or be all out for now. Okay. After Libra comes Scorpio. What is it that our Scorpio friends need to hear for the weekend ahead? Some practical advice or guidance. just something that helps them feel connected and seen by the unseen. Clearing for our Scorpios. All right, we get the Sun card and the Ten of Wands. They're both reversed. Let's read them that way. So the Sun card, both of these really great cards upright. Also positive cards upside down. So this is about really stepping into a new version of yourself. The Sun card is to take opportunities. And the Ten of Wands is like there's too many opportunities, right? So how can you maybe step back a little bit and not lead every charge in your life? How can you disperse or get help with some of the responsibilities that you have, or the opportunities that you've maybe created and have gotten a little bit too much or out of hand? The Sun card is also about being selfless, right? When it's reversed like this. So yes, it's time to shine and to be the best Scorpio version that you can be, and to regenerate and overcome, and your comeback is bigger than your setback. Yes, Scorpio. But reversed like this, it's also a reminder to be in selfless service. And so everything you do doesn't have to stress you out as long as you're in service. I had a teacher that said, when you're nervous, be of service. This isn't a time to overexert yourself, is another way of thinking about it. You know, we were just talking about this in the Libra reading, where we're in a 5 numerology month. So there's still that feeling spread too thin, feeling like I need to be in all places at once, or feeling like life's a big adventure and then going off, and yet all of the responsibilities are piling up, or taking the time off that you need, but life didn't stop. So, you know what I mean? Just that feeling of being spread out a little bit, or needing to spread out a little bit. Both of those interpretations would apply. But overall, Scorpio, I would say, where can you delegate something, and where can you re-inspire yourself by being of true service? And what does that look like? What does service look like? It doesn't necessarily mean volunteer in the soup kitchen on Wednesday night. It's like every day when I get up, I'm inspired by that greater mission of why I came here to this earth, right? So if you're needing help with finding that greater mission, of course, I want to invite you to our Midheaven workshop with Sarah El-Harar in September. It's for our members, but I will open it up for non-members. So I really want everybody to get this information. I've seen her slides, and I'm excited to take her class with you guys. The Midheaven is a really powerful part of your chart. It's not just about your career. It has to do with your calling and your legacy. And so I want to mention that so that you can be thinking about that under the current astrology. Okay, our bonus card for our Scorpios. Time to go. Okay, time to go. So what is it that it's just, you know, just something that is time to go? Where do you need to go? What do you need to let go of? That 10 of Wands reversed to me indicates you've been carrying too much for too long, and there's something that you could delegate, let go of, put down for now. You know, the backpack of rocks, you don't have to carry it around type of a thing. That what in your life needs to be let go of in order to create some healing, some space? What feels like it's taking you away from your purpose, your motivation in life, and what feels like it's pulling you forward towards it? So looking up this, of course, in her words, is going to be better than my little interpretation, but your interpretation is going to be the best, because you know what that means. All right, let's focus on our Sagittarius. Let's clear for our Sag and see what is in store for their weekend, some practical advice or guidance, just some information from Spirit that helps them feel seen and heard. Okay, beautiful. All right, so we get the Fool card next to the Knight of Swords. This reminds me a little bit of Don Quixote, right? This reminds me of the taking the sword to the windmills type moment. The Fool card is one of my favorite cards to get. So, and I have Sag rising, and so I'm like, this is kind of a playful setup, but it's to choose your fights wisely and to not waste your precious human time on things that don't matter. So that Mars and Gemini, what are you fighting for, really? You know, the Knight of Swords, this is kind of an immature use of our words. And so again, I just want you to help to save yourself by not using your words or communication or other people's communication against yourself, or yours against other people, right? Like this is a really good time to check in with your own mind, the way that it works, really get into your meditation practice. The Fool card is about just a whole new path, a whole new way of life, something that feels foolish to other people, but feels brilliant and fun and juicy and creative and good to you. The Fool card requires a lot of trust because you just have this moment of not this anymore, and I just always wanted to be this, and so I'm going to go that way. I just always wanted to live in Sedona, and I'm going to go find a community that I can afford. I just always wanted to do underwater basket weaving, and I'm going to find a class. This is about the search for truth, and this is about kind of youthful folly, like foolishly going forward. So don't be too foolish, but if what you're doing looks foolish and it's on path for you, just be clear about it and try not to hurt other people along the way, right? That's the biggest thing. So the Fool card, your new beginning moment, the Knight of Swords card, looking for the truth, standing up for yourself without hurting the other people in your life, right? So this can be kind of a sharp-tongued Mars and Gemini moment for you. So just being really aware, write the text and then delete it, and then write it in a letter and burn it. You know what I mean? Get things through your system in a way that is safe for yourself and others. But looks like you're ready for a new path. This is a magical new path forward for anybody that wants to take it. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? Okay. Sorry, let's see. The wisdom of the Oracle, your bonus card, Sagittarius, for the weekend is to be fair. Now that Knight of Swords would agree. To be fair. What feels fair to you? What feels fair is kind of a conundrum with the Fool card, because that could, like, fairness could hold you back too, in a way. So what's fair to yourself, right? So being fair to yourself might be the message. Of course, looking that up if you want further insight or guidance, or just using your own intuition. Let's clear the deck for Capricorn. So what is it that our Capricorn friends need to hear for the weekend ahead? Some practical advice or guidance that just helps them really get into the flow of their life, really be seen and heard. Whoa, I got the same. You guys saw me shuffle, but I got the same cards. So Capricorn, listen to the Sagittarius reading for a double meaning, because I just got the same cards as Sag. So all Capricorns watching, listen to the Sag reading. I'm going to do some more cards for you. Okay, what else do Capricorns need to hear in addition to the Sag reading? What do Capricorns need to hear the most? Let's clear. Okay. All right, so we graduate from the King of Swords, the Knight of Swords, to the King of Swords, and we get the Strength card. So Capricorns that are having to go, like, to persevere, maybe you've been working on something that has been challenging or doesn't feel fruitful in the moment. This is a call to be the leader of your life and to really persevere, to use your great inner strength to hang on to the things that matter and to let go of the things that don't matter, to stick with something, to go the distance, right? Like that, I think the Libras got that. But Capricorn, don't give up before the miracle happens, because the miracle is on the way. So don't give up, Capricorn. This is never give up hope. And so if you're feeling hopeless, this can be a message for Capricorns that maybe you feel like what you've been doing isn't adding up to much. That's not true. It is. It's adding up to much. If you'll just persevere, just keep going forward. Just go for your walk every day. It adds up. Do your yoga every day. It adds up. You never know what you're training for, but you're in training. So this is a message of perseverance. And our second message for our Capricorns is to chop wood. So another message of chopping wood, carrying water, perseverance, adding rhythm into your life, and just not giving up on the fact that it is helping you, that what the actions that you're taking to chop wood, what are those things? Mine are things like drink 3 glasses of water a day. They're big glasses. Do a little bit of yoga, walk around the track a couple of times, do the infrared light, do the foot bath. These are my ways of chopping wood, right? Like, it's doing the things that are going to keep me on track with my health, my spiritual fitness. So hopefully that's helpful to some of you guys. All right, let's clear the deck for Aquarius. What is it that our Aquarius need to hear? Some practical advice or guidance for the weekend ahead. The Four of Cups, the Six of Pentacles. Interesting. So there's a moment of generosity. Maybe a brother or sister or childhood friend is revisiting some things that's stirring something up for you. Maybe they're visiting a childhood home. Maybe they're going back into a yearbook and showing you some pictures. Maybe they're looking through, they're going down memory lane. And that, like, for me, okay, like we just started watching Red Oaks, which is takes place in 1985. And it's just so like charming and easy and healing to see all of the period pieces and the way, like, the costumes and the word choices and the way that life was back then for us, at least as growing up in the 80s. It was a simpler time. And so these cards, Aquarius, helps you remember to go back to a simpler time, to keep things simple, to keep them straight, clear, straightforward. I almost said clear forward. But the idea here is like no more craziness, no more investors, no more help, no more added information. This is how can we keep things simple, deduce things, reduce things, minimize things, keep things easy, and being generous to ourselves, right? Being generous to ourselves. So Aquarius, hopefully this message helps you go back to a simpler time and kind of plug into an easier rhythm. And for a bonus card for you guys, let's see, we get serendipity. So looking for those serendipitous moments, those moments of synchronicity that help you connect to spirit, that help you feel connected. You're already connected, but serendipity, I think, will give you those green lights that you're looking for. Okay. All right. Last but not least, let's clear the deck for Pisces. What is it that our Pisces friends need to hear for the weekend ahead? Some practical advice or guidance, some simple information that helps lead the way, helps guide your thinking. Let's just clear for our Pisces. Okay, we got the Six of Pentacles, similar message to the Aquarius. So go back and listen to the Aquarius reading, but Pisces, you also get the Judgment card reversed. Okay, and so I don't know if you have also just maybe been being a little bit too hard on yourself, or the other people in your life, right? This is a card of letting go of judgment and being generous, being generous with yourself. This could be that I'm feeling intuitively, it's also about spending time with your friends in a non-judgmental way. So of course, we've recently had that Aquarius full moon. Maybe there's some friends that you're realizing aren't the best to hang out with or not super uplifting for you right now. I would say, Pisces, this is a reminder to kind of guard your energy from people that you feel judged by. It's not that you have to avoid them completely, but maybe there could be a step back in a way so that you could reassess some personal boundaries. It just feels like something got a little sticky with some of your relationships, and that you took something sticky on that maybe wasn't even meant to be yours to take on. So just a reminder that you can use the mind to protect the aura. So what does that look like? It looks like putting yourself in a glass cube, allowing white liquid light to flow down around and through you, commanding this tube of white electronic light through you, watching your heart space grow and expand exponentially, pushing your auric field out, and putting yourself in this like rainbow colored egg. There's lots of visual things you can do with your mind to really to keep your space safe, to not feel attacked or to not feel away. This is a card. This setup is a reminder to take nothing personally ever. So go back to the 4 agreements and reread those. Maybe print them out and keep them up on your mirror. Make no assumptions, right? Make no assumptions, and don't use other people's words against yourself. Okay, Pisces. Let's see. Especially with Mars and Gemini, there's going to be violent words. There's going to be some ugly things said. And man, if you can 100% of the time spiritually samurai those things and just like not take it on, just move out of the energy, right? Like that's going to be a major changer for the collective consciousness. Okay, so the bonus card for our Pisces is going to be fork in the road, fork in the road, fork in the road. So do you want to get bitter or better? Bitter or better? Bitter or better? Which one? Pisces. That's your fork. Okay. For our universal reading, I'm going to use this Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and then I'm going to jump in and read it, which I hate doing on camera, just like reading to you on camera. But that's what I feel like is going to be what we want to do. So let's clear. This is our universal reading for all signs. So what we all need to hear and pay attention to this weekend, simple theme to pull forward here, to breathe. All right, so Mars and Gemini, breathe, right? Just all of us get the message to breathe. It's number 29 in this deck. Let's see, thanks for your patience while I'm flipping to it. It says patience, waiting, going slow, wellness, meditation, and trust. Okay. The Oracle's message is that patience in all things is called for right now. That is so true with the astrology. What do you need to do when you're in a rush, right? What do you need to do when you're in a rush is to slow down, of course. Meditate and trust, breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to allow the life-giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe in the sunlight, and release the darkness, and miracles will appear. The relationship message for the card of breathe is it says, don't be in too much of a hurry right now. The heart needs time to open. Take a breath and let nature take its course. Release constriction and anxiety, for there is no need for tension. Savor the moment, and the waiting won't prove difficult. Your heart knows what the ego often resists learning. Patience pays off in deep and meaningful ways. The prosperity message is that you've worked long and hard, your dreams are coming to fruition, and you want to hurry things along. This reminds me of the Capricorn reading. You are the slow one, moving languidly, yet still progressing right now in a rhythm dictated by your authentic nature, right? That's very much part of our readings, in a rhythm dictated by our authentic nature, the essence of your dream, and the will of the universe. Slow and steady wins the race. You will indeed win if you relax, stay the course, trust your intuition, and breathe. The protection message is that inertia, laziness, and apathy are signs not of slowing down, but of decay and lifelessness. Inertia, laziness, and apathy are not signs of slowing down, but of decay and lifelessness. Wake up and do something to shake this off. So go outside for some air. A walk in nature will remind you that all of life is ensouled and magical. Get some exercise, move out of your head and into your body, and breathe in deeply. It says that each breath is precious. So hope that helps you guys. Have a beautiful weekend. Please come back to wiseskiescollective.com if you'd like some one-on-one sessions with any of our team, our collective, or to join our membership. We'd love to have you. All right. Have a beautiful weekend. Remember that you're born wise, that you can connect with your guides anytime. And namaste.